A Mississippi lawmaker decided to have a little bit of fun at the right's expense by introducing a bill that would fine men for masturbating or engaging in other sexual acts which don't have the quote intent to fertilize an embryo. Which is hot, I know, I agree. Mississippi State Senator Bradford Blackmon, Democrat, has this bill. It's the Contraception Begins at Erection Act, which that's just chef's kiss. That's beautiful, I love it. It would make it unlawful for, quote, a person to discharge genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo. It includes exceptions for sperm donation and using contraception to prevent fertilization. I say if you're just gonna do your symbolic bill, go whole hog, you don't even need to do that, but that's fine. So you'd be fined if you violate this. So it's $1,000 for the first offense, $5,000 for a second offense, $10,000 for any subsequent offenses, either over time or if you have an oddly short refractory period. It could end up costing a lot of money for you. And so he talked to local news saying all across the country, especially here in Mississippi, the vast majority of bills related to contraception and or abortion focus on the woman's role when men are 50% of the equation. Not by time necessarily. This bill highlights that fact and brings the man's role into the conversation. People can get up in arms and call it absurd, but I can't say that bothers me. And so, look, we're gonna have a good amount of this during this time. It's in a place where they're not gonna be able to pass anything. I just like that it highlights the absurdity in a way that we occasionally get, and most people will just write it off. A lot of Republicans will be like, well, obviously we wouldn't control my body, but my hope is that some of them will be like, oh wait, why is that so obvious in comparison to what I support? And it'll likely be very few people that this gets through to, but hell, I'll take a few. Brett, what do you make of it?
Yeah, Nina Turner did something like this in Ohio once. I think it was like kind of to prove a point. It said, listen, they made women get a second opinion or go through all these extra hoops to get an abortion. She introduced a bill that made it so that you had to go to additional doctors before you got Viagra to prove that you couldn't get an erection. It was something like that, and it was awesome. And this is just exactly what they should do, because when you first see that headline, you don't know if it's real or not. I think that's the best thing about it. You're like, a lot of people, I think, when they see this headline, thought that this was a right winger who introduced that exact bill. But that means that it's good satire, because it makes you question whether it's real or not. And I think he did an excellent job.
Yeah, again, and look, we're gonna need to respond in this time in a lot of different ways. And I think it makes sense that some of them should be like impassioned and serious. Maybe like you put Reverend Buddy in that sort of category. We're gonna need comedians and we're gonna need all that. And then we're also gonna need this sort of satire from comedians, but also from people working in the system. And no one thing is gonna fix all of this, and we need to do a lot of trial and error and all that, but we have to do what we can. And when you're a Democrat in the Mississippi House, you've probably got a little bit of spare time on your hands. So why not? Why not? Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.